Salut.
Hey.
All right.
Welcome back to the Good, the Bad, and the Just Plain Standard podcast, where we provide you with our informed opinions on movies we watched together. We are your hosts,
Adam.
Anouk.
and Yann. Today is all about Russell Mulcahy's Highlander.
Starring.
Christopher Lambert. Roxanne Hart. Clancy Brown. Sean Connery. Beatty Edney. Alan North. Sheila Gish. John Polito. And Hugh Quashie.
What the hell did we just watch?
It was really weird, wasn't it? Isn't it?
So this will be polarizing because I reckon this is a cult film. So we're either going to get two types of people here. We're going to get reoccurring listeners that are going, what's this film about? And we're going to get fans of I always get them wrong. Highlander going, oh, a Highlander podcast, right? I get why you're fans, but I'm kind of blown away. I reckon everyone was when they first saw this film for the first time. What the hell was this?
Yeah, I feel like I need to watch it again to know what I actually feel about it. Maybe I should have done that, but
Okay, I'll start with the intro, the sound intro, and then I'll give you a disclaimer.
Okay.
So I'll probably put that afterwards in the edit.
From the dawn of time he came, moving silently down through the centuries, living many secret lives, struggling to reach the time of the gathering, when the few who remain go back to the last, go back to the last. No one has ever known we were among you, until now.
Okay.
Well said, Sean. Well said.
Yeah, so he recorded this in his Madrid villa in the toilets. So that's the eco thingy.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so Adam, you're leading, but I will start with a disclaimer though. I saw it in my childhood and it did not necessarily age well in its own right, so I entirely get where you're coming from, given the fact that you actually just saw it.
Yeah. Okay. So, here's a little fun thing for listeners. Usually we here at the Good, the Bad, and the Just Plain Standard. It used to be in the beginning where we do a modern film and a past film, and they used to have a link together. The real last time we did that was probably Atomic Blonde from John Wick. And then it just became like, what do we want to talk about? Yann had this idea of Scottish Month because of Rabbie Burns, which you're listening, this is about halfway through, I believe. I hope you're enjoying it. I'm enjoying watching these Scottish movies. This was the one on the list I went, what? I'm like, okay, I think I vaguely know of this film. I knew of this film because of the "there can be only one" line. That's all I knew of this film. I was like, okay, this film was many things. It was a hell of an experience watching. I have to recommend watching it just because I don't like. I've never experienced that the first time watching the film. Honestly, I'm kind of like baffled.
Well, I mean, if you look at it critically, and that's what we're doing here, this film is full of weird things. One of the best examples being, it's just like that tiny thing, but the Kurgan sword in two parts that would in real life just shatter the first time you use it.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
But
How did you? Oh, God damn cinema mode, Jan. We're gonna have to throw you out this flat.
I just moved. I just had a goal, which fulfilled itself.
Congratulations, Jan. You fulfilled the goal.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, calories thingy.
Oh, that's good.
Because the metabolism does it on its own. So you know.
Ooh. Selling that Apple product software. All right, Jan. How did you find this film as your child? Dan, let's start there.
yeah.
All right. It started, okay, in terms of originality, it started a whole lot of stuff. They did like 5 movies after that, a whole TV series with 6 seasons, I think. And I'll go into details when the rating comes, because it's one of those, again, with the new category. Yeah, yeah. But first of all, bilingual corner.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's been changed now, but in the original French version, he was not named Connor, but Conrad.
Okay.
For some reason. I am not sure why. Also, there were many edits, many cuts of that film. Like you've got the first DVD I purchased for this film had the European cut and the American cut, and so there was loads of different people putting their 5 cents on the thing. Let me think. Well, let's have your experience first, because the reason why it's in the category, you know what category?
We'll get later on.
We'll get at the end.
Fair
So
enough.
just go into, and I'll just debunk all the myth that you are going to launch at me.
All right, fair enough. I mean, this. It's, if I remember rightly, this one starts in the present, right? We don't start in Scotland.
No, it starts the
stadium,
Madison Square Garden.
The fight in the car park. What you can see on this one, my face of like, I don't. Honestly, you plug a DVD in, there's a fight in the first 5 minutes. I'm like, right, okay, this is what we're getting into. I'm like, all right, so this is why Yann picked it, not because of the fight, just because it's so bafflingly weird start. You don't know where you're going. I think that's the best way to describe this film. There isn't, whatever way you think you're going, you don't. You know the rough plot, right? Which is, there can be only one. Essentially, the plot of the film is, maybe we should do that, just to put some ground. I'm having flashbacks to Troll 2.
Yeah, I mean, it was better.
Of course,
than Troll 2.
Yeah.
Much better. It has a thread, so it like starts with a story and like follows through. So in that sense, I think it was. I did enjoy it because I don't think it was everywhere. I think there was like a common thread through.
Once you get that Rachel is actually the little girl, it makes a bit more sense.
Yeah. And as soon as he turned around in the lift and was like, "It's a kind of magic," I was like, "Oh, she's a little girl."
But doesn't that scene not make any sense if you haven't seen the European cut? Because you said to me, Yann, that scene with the Nazis isn't in the US cut.
Yeah. Either one or I think it's the US cut, yeah.
So
How strange.
there's a whole demographic that don't get that. Bloody hell.
I was wondering, does anyone know where Christopher Lambert's actually from?
From France, but...
Oh, he's French?
Oh, yeah, he is, for sure. If you're looking for a specific place, I'm not sure, but from France, for sure, yes.
I wish I'd got in there first. I should have went, he's Scottish, clearly. Did you not hear the accent?
His real name is Christophe Lambert, but he's putting Christopher Lambert because it's so much American. Everywhere is
He can get into the Hollywood role.
Let's have this now. Who would win in a fight between...
An accent fight? Or?
No, not an accent fight. Like a genuine fight between Bruce Campbell and Christopher Lambert.
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell was Ash from Evil Dead.
Yeah, because Bruce Campbell has a fucking... what is it called?
But you can't kill the
chainsaw.
Yeah, but you
instead of a man. No, Bruce Campbell or the characters or
yeah. Let's go characters then.
Oh, well, Bruce Campbell will have to go for the head.
Yeah,
exactly.
That would be a nice shout out, like a showdown.
That'd be a good thing to think.
Mishmash.
Immediately watching this film, I thought of Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And what was it?
Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness. That was it.
It has that kind of disjointed, edited feel, and the kind of lights that kind of come from nowhere. They're a little bit kind of LED type.
Yeah.
And like smoke machine and swords and sword fights in back alleys, and those smoking round things that are in the like the drains.
Grates.
Are they called grates?
Well, we call them grates. Americans would call them manhole covers.
Manhole covers.
But I would call
They're
it
like
a grate.
they smoke, which actually exists in New York. We saw.
Yeah.
They actually have smoking manholes, which is incredible. That sounds wrong.
And lots of rats.
Oh my god! Oh my god! No! Don't remind me if that was so horrific.
When me and Anouk went to New York last year, we went to do the Empire State Building at night, just because you get just for something different, because everyone usually does it at sunset. So we're like, screw it, we'll do it at night. And when we got there, we stepped out of the cab, and there was just like bags of rubbish on the side of the street waiting to get picked up, but just like 60 odd rats just like crawling all over them and stuff.
Like the rubbish is like 6 foot high.
Garbage or trash to Americans.
The big like
Big like cats.
cat.
Yeah.
And you don't see them at first, and then when you like move closer, you can see them just scurrying around, and there's like 10 of them, and they're big like cat. Anyway,
Yeah, it's a good segue. Well, it's a good link with the Army of Darkness, because this definitely was just like Army of Darkness was a family thingy.
Really?
And also, Connor MacLeod was born in 1518 and died in 1536. And 1532 is the date that we have in Provence near the Sainte-Victoire. We have a family house which was built in 1532.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's a bit of a
link there for you.
Yeah.
that's nice.
And also, for once, it was immortals without being vampires, which was kind of interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Although when we first meet Kruger, he kind of looks Kurgan, sorry. He looks almost vampire-esque in that like not warrior, barbarian sort of outfit. You know, when he arrives on the horse at the very beginning, when he kills MacLeod.
Yeah, then he becomes a goth, and it's all a bit. He's just like, there's nothing good about that guy.
What's the character's full name again? Because I'm going to say what I said.
Krugen.
My name is Victor Krugen. I wear a jacket of leather.
Yeah.
And chainmail. I think honestly, it's watching this film made me think. You know, we should really do a series of when Yann moves into our property, when we watch the movies together, of just us speaking while watching the movies as well. Sometimes, if we haven't seen the movie for the first time, that might be quite fun to do, because me watching this movie just kind of blew my own mind. It's kind of like that scene at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark where like the guy's head melts. I was like, whoa, just everything. Like, there are so many scenes in this movie. I'm like, what?
Yeah, there are a lot of what moments for sure.
Which I have to say is far better than me not caring. In my opinion,
it's not standard.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
We should do kind of a Google Box kind of stuff, but for movies we're reviewing.
Google Box style, yeah.
I'm so up for that. That sounds really fun.
Cool. Yeah.
No, I did enjoy it, and actually, it is one of those films where you just have to stick with it. Like, it seems a bit crazy and a little bit dated, but if you stick with it, actually, it was enjoyable.
It is entirely dated, but it's a question of whether is it dated? Does it still work today? As in, like, can you still enjoy it, or is it just totally lost? And we'll get into that.
It's also one of those where the French version is very good.
Ah, okay.
Uh-huh.
That's cool.
Is it dubbed or?
Yeah, dubbed.
The dubbed version stands out. Okay, that's cool. So obviously, did you see the French version first then, or did?
Oh yeah. I only started watching.
Well, yeah, you said.
When I was 16. This one I'm pretty sure I've seen it way after that. Before.
That's good.
One thing that annoyed me was that. So, Sean Connery is actually Scottish, but they make him Egyptian.
Yeah,
and then the main guy is French and they make him Scottish, but he can't do a Scottish accent. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. America, what the hell are you doing?
It is just one of the weirdest experiences ever watching this film as a Scottish person.
Well, you know, it's one of the no, not one. The very first time we heard in my family about haggis was with this movie.
Oh yeah, how he says.
Yeah, and how it's disgusting, and so well, when I finally lift up from the movie and actually tried real haggis here, I loved it. Yeah, but yeah, from the movie it doesn't sound really appetizing.
Deep fried and served with chips. I'm joking. Like a properly cooked haggis is great, but you know, if you're drunk or craving a chippy.
What did you think about the funny, well thought out transition between periods, visual shots?
My Christ, some of these shots are amazing. By Christ, that's just.
Yeah,
I'm going to call these shots transitions in Scotland. By Christ, because shout out to Filth. Which actually, if you're watching the audio podcast, you will be able to know that we recorded today because we're wearing the same outfit.
I'm not.
Did you change?
Well, I'm wearing a jumper, so.
Ah, damn! I shouldn't have said anything. Whoops. Never mind.
No.
Joking.
But
the explosion one blew my mind. Like the screen, it's honestly something that you would just never picture in a full-made Hollywood movie, as the screen breaks like a shattered piece of glass to transition into fucking him in the Second World War. I mean, of anything to transition into, I don't know why you would choose that for the Second World War. It's not even like he was coming in a window or anything made of glass. They're just like...
Well, it's...
Meanwhile, in Normandy, France...
It's like one of those tropes that they tried to keep in Highlander, the following Highlanders. The second one was also made by Russell Mulcahy, but it was really butchered. They introduced the fact that apparently there were aliens, the immortals, so there were more on their own planet. So, well, so the second one is just disgustingly bad, but the director's edition makes it actually quite... Yeah, on the low end of good.
This isn't...
But the original, the theatrical version of the second one is just a shame.
I feel like whenever someone says, oh, yeah, and then, you know, aliens come in, and immediately I just shut down. I'm just like, I'm not even going down that road. Like,
Indiana Jones 4. Yo.
Oh, I haven't even been there.
They introduced an alien, crystal skull thingy. Yeah.
This is crazy to me.
In the bookshelf behind us is one of the rare copies of the 3 Indiana Jones movies without crystal skull, which are more valued now because you don't have to buy a DVD that contains that crap.
Is it that bad that you're like, I'm not buying that?
Oh, it's like prequel Star Wars bad of Indiana Jones. Like it's a joke how bad Crystal Skull.
Oh, dear.
There's a scene where Shia LaBeouf swings through the vines with monkeys.
Shia LaBeouf. He is just such a strange character. I used to love him in Even Stevens as a kid. I don't know if anyone used to watch that.
Stevens, no.
Me and my sister used to watch. I used to be obsessed with it. That's where he started from. Kind of Disney. Anyway.
How did you like the circular shot in the museum? Like...
In the museum?
When they went round. Sometimes I did feel there were scenes in this to pad out the runtime.
But
I like that one. I did like that padding shot.
I like the music. It was just suddenly...
Oh, are we talking about the music already?
Yeah, well...
Well, no, I'm just saying that added to it.
Let's save that for a wee bit.
Because it was a tradition. It was a transition with the music and the circular thing. I thought was quite nice.
Yeah, indeed. The kind of...
I thought it was I thought it was a good idea to have, like, he collected shit from the times he had been. I thought that was a cool idea because you would do that,
and he would be, of course, in any film or theatre production that you see. If you're immortal, you'll be rich at some point. Like that's just the rule. Like I'm an immortal, you're obviously rich.
Do you reckon that started with Dracula?
Probably, even though I'm sure beforehand there were some immortals.
Well, he was a Count Dracula.
Yeah. He came from a
It's
I
gentrical
came from
family.
money.
There were two transitions that I thought was amazing. One was
Transitions one more time.
transitions.
Way.
One was his face turning into the Mona Lisa. I thought that was genius.
Oh, well, that's ridiculous.
I have never seen that.
Do you know what that reminded me of? That reminded me of the Tommy Wiseau billboard for The Room. You know, like the face he makes on that board. It reminded me of that a lot.
Yeah, I know, because it kind of dulls in the color.
Yeah.
In the color.
It's also one of the tropes. So there are 5 movies, I think. Only the 3 first ones have a love interest.
Right.
Only blondes. He likes blondes, apparently.
Yeah.
And so the trope is always the same. So you've got the person doesn't know he's immortal, and then the moment when he needs to tell that love interest that he is. So he's just like, my name is Conor MacLeod. I was born in the Highlands of Scotland on the shores of Loch Shiel and everything. And then there is realization in the eyes of the female, and then the kiss, and then they have sex.
Oh,
Yeah.
Just because he's Scottish.
he's not Scottish, though. He's Russian.
In the film, he's Scottish. That was a joke that Scottish
Russian
men
what?
are attacked.
He sounds like he's Russian. It's weird.
My name is Conor MacLeod. I was born on the banks of Loch Shiel. Loch Shiel.
It's like, no, you weren't.
And on the third one, they changed a bit.
My true love gave to me.
Adam.
It's the girl who actually says, but you're from the river. Yeah, she does parts of a speech. So they turned it around and they have sex well. And she's keeping her bra this time, but removing it at some point.
Yeah, there's a proper sex scene in
That
this
was a
film.
proper racy, that one.
Yeah, it was racy. And it doesn't even like crescendo. It like just suddenly he's just,
Nibbling.
yeah, sucking on things. It was
Yeah,
just like,
it's,
whoa,
it's
okay.
like, okay. I haven't had sex for 400 years. My name is Conor MacLeod. Sleep with me.
Yeah, it's a kind of it's a seduction technique, right? You just say, I'm Conor MacLeod, and like 10 seconds later,
Do you
boom.
like...
Yeah, I mean,
Just don't even need to work out or...
No.
Do you like older men?
there's something in. I'm 500 years old.
How would you like a 5-year-old sugar... 500-year-old sugar daddy? I'll do that again. How would you like a 500-year-old sugar daddy?
Do you know?
Okay.
Do you know who's been cast as the Kurgan in the reboot?
No, go on.
Oh,
It's been in boxes for a long time, but Dave Bautista.
Okay.
Well, it was cast in February 2015, so that's a while. But the Chad
wrestler.
Stahelski. Wait. Yeah, Chad Stahelski, one of the directors of John Wick. We talked about that in John Wick episode.
Shall we talk about...
And Javier Bardem as Juan Sanchez Villalobos Ramirez.
well, at least.
Oh,
So they're
Sean
actually
Connery's
making
character.
him Spanish, not Egyptian.
In the collective mind, the character is Spanish.
Why did he say he was Egyptian? Was that a joke? I don't know.
Who knows? Shall we talk about Kruger then? Not Kruger.
The Kurgan?
Kurgan. Sorry. I'm thinking of Freddy Krueger. Sorry.
Yeah, that's very different.
The Kurgan.
Kurgan. He
Which-
was great. Clarence Brown. He's famous.
We've mentioned him before.
Yeah, I have a bit about him here.
Shout out to Baron Praxis.
Yeah, he was playing Surtur in Thor Ragnarok.
This is the guy I was trying to... This was the guy I was talking about that did loads of video game voiceovers. This is him.
He also did Snow White as well.
Who was he in Snow White?
He was like a mystical creature.
Oh. He's done a lot of stuff, that guy.
Yeah. Was he one of the burglars in Home Alone?
No, I've watched recently the 2 first ones. It wasn't
And
the
it
2
wasn't
first
him?
ones. No. There was Joe Pesci, and the second one is the taller guy with hair.
I love the idea of Joe Pesci being the burglar in that, just because of Goodfellas. Just going up to Macaulay Culkin and going, funny how? Funny like a clown. I can't do Jersey accent. I'm terribly sorry for anyone from New Jersey listening. I apologise.
What's he been in?
You recognise the voice from loads of places. You'll have heard him. He does a lot of voiceover work. He's done many an animated TV series.
I thought he was very good. Like it was believable.
Oh, by the way, in the uncut version, the very first fight, Fazil, so the guy Connor is fighting, he's doing backflips.
Oh,
Which I think you didn't see in this one.
I don't.
We didn't
know.
see. Yeah, he's so in the version I watched, which was uncut. He was doing backward cartwheels.
All right.
Yeah, as he was fleeing in the garage.
That's pretty difficult to do.
Oh no, he did do that.
He did.
He definitely did that. He definitely did that because I remember going, "What? Why would you just run?"
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. And
No, that was definitely in the version we watched.
And you can see at the very end when he gets the prize in the air with the ghost and everything, you can see wires which were removed in the US version.
Ah, that's funny.
Yeah.
I think I can't avoid talking about the elephant in the room with this film right now anymore.
Oh.
The fact that Queen wrote 2 banging hits on their greatest albums for this film
Are you?
blows my bloody mind.
And that's a fact.
Yeah. They wrote more than Who Wants to Live Forever, Princes of the Universe.
My God.
Princes of the Universe was the original working title for that film. So that's A Kind of Magic, 1 Year of Love, and there is one bit in the car at the end
Hammer to
with
Fall,
with the grandma on the
There's a bit of Hammer to Fall in there as well.
There is a New York.
No,
Like,
yeah.
that's the only place in the world where you can find this cover in Highlander.
It is absolutely crazy.
It's amazing. It's also very Queen.
It is a very Queen thing to do. I mean, with Flash, of course they would do a film like this. Of course.
6 out of 9 songs, 6 of them were made by.
It's crazy. That is absolutely crazy.
That's
how
amazing.
much Queen is in this film.
That's amazing.
It's just a great marketing ploy. Like, want to hear some Queen songs? Come and see this film.
Who wants to live forever?
That was a nice plot point that they actually did, because a lot of films don't actually show you that relationship. You know, like the person getting older. I didn't expect them to do it.
It was kind of forgotten, though, I think, quite quickly.
Oh, yeah, and like he takes his new girlfriend back. He's like, "Hi, this is the Highlands where I grew up. This is probably the same spot where I shagged my wife 400 years ago.
Yeah.
Let's get busy."
Yeah, exactly. You kind of look exactly like her.
Oh, man.
Russell Mulcahy, who directed this, they also did Shakespeare in Love.
Okay.
Ah.
Yeah.
So he does like his blondes.
He does.
Yeah.
And so as I said earlier, I was a bit surprised to discover that he also did the second one, but with his own edit, it made more sense because it's watchable, the director's cut, but the original theatrical cut is just not watchable.
Not watchable. God. I mean, that's a bad film when you can't even finish it.
They have kind of an ozone shield, like he's protecting the planet from
greenhouse gases.
Yeah, and it's just weird, and they're coming from the planet Zeist, but you've got funny moments. The way Villalobos Ramirez appeared here it's just jumped over them. In this one, there is like this big amphitheater, and he's appearing in the middle of the performance of Hamlet. So it's rather funny. Yeah, it's quite funny.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
The second one is on the lower end of good, the director's cut. The other one is just a disgrace, as I said.
Oh dear. Disgrace. That's a powerful word.
Yeah.
It's tough because it's hard to find what to say. I mean, I think the lighting was really interesting at some points.
Mm.
Like when Kugren.
Kurgan. Kruger, that's
Kruger.
Die Hard.
Someone is very different.
That is true.
What's his name again?
The Kurgan.
Kurgan. He comes into Betty. What's her name?
Betty.
Yeah, his wife. Well, not his wife, his girlfriend.
Oh, in the past. Oh yeah, in the like the fight with Sean
In the
Connery.
house.
And the yeah. Then like the lightning and that was a scene.
That was insane.
That was an insane fight scene.
Especially because they were like fighting
Up
and
the
then
stairs.
apparently the castle falls down and you're just like, you weren't fighting that crazily. For God's sake, that wouldn't happen. Or even putting like a really strong light source in a room so that it comes out of the door and it looks like...
Oh, like, yeah. I know what you're trying to say. Like, there's light coming from behind it, like smashing through the door sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there was like red and greens from like kind of coming out of the like the spaces like around the door.
Yeah. The other thing that I makes me think about this film is the church scene, just because it's so ridiculous, just ridiculous.
This one was different between also the cuts.
It's almost like they didn't stop. They just like, no, just keep going, see what he does.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the very rare example where it might have been better in French.
Ah.
Yeah, because I think we said that in the Army of Darkness episode. We work a lot with quotes with my brother and my family, like always placing some smart ones when it's the moment to place them.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that we have for this movie are in French.
Ah.
Okay.
Because it's better to... it's better to die than fade away, to disappear than fade away.
It's better to burn out than fade away.
Burn out, yeah.
Right. And we have it. Il vaut mieux mourir que disparaître, it's way more poetic. Like it feels more. Way less. I don't know how to say, but yeah, it's that scene does work much more in French. I feel.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, the quickening. The very first time, Villalobos Ramirez talks about it. He says it's the quickening. This was translated as l'accélération, which is kind of going faster, like kind of a quickening. But that's the only one time when you hear it in that movie as translated. And now it became the quickening, also in French, in everything that followed in the series. And yeah, because the fact that you gain everything from the previous one.
So what happened after this film then? So obviously it got a cult following then.
You also have examples of movies, but just one single movie that was made into a series. Stargate is a perfect example. That series was 1992, I think. Highlander series was very, very popular.
Okay.
They expanded on many themes, and they included Watchers, which are humans who are like keeping tabs on immortals, making sure that they're like this unseen force of humans. And they included many, many characters. There was even a spin. So what we have right now in terms of Highlander, right? So 1986, that's the one we're just seeing. Highlander 2, The Quickening, 91. Highlander 3, The Sorcerer, 94. Highlander Endgame, 2000. Highlander The Search for Vengeance, 2007. Highlander The Source, 2007. Oh well, I may have mixed. Well, there you have 6 of those actually. Yeah, 6 of those. The first one, in my opinion, was the best. The end game was a bridge episode, so the series was well underway, and they needed to bring Duncan MacLeod, who is the character in the series, into the movie series, the film series, and that's what they did. And they killed off Christopher Lambert, and the series of movies just continued with Adrian Paul, who is Duncan MacLeod. And the movie in itself, I was a bit worried because I watched everything to prepare for this episode, right? Well, not the series, but I've been watching the series before, but specifically for this episode, I've watched all the movies. And I was a bit worried because there was something I used to do when I was, 10 or 20 years ago. I would take DVDs I purchased and extract the whole soundtrack with the dialogues and everything, and listen to that endlessly on my on the player. And I did that at one point for Highlander Endgame, and I found myself like knowing exactly what they were about to say in the movie the whole way through. So I see, wow, that movie is not that good, so that's quite sad.
I'm like that for Chicken Run.
Yeah.
I know Chicken Run backwards and forwards and sideways and upside down.
I did that for Gladiator, but that's a great movie.
That's a very good movie. Very good movie.
Live action TV, Highlander the series, Highlander the Raven, which was one of his female love interest, who became the lead in the spin-off. And 3 series, animated series. The animated series, The Adventure Begins, and The Search for Vengeance, which was actually anime, which apparently was just incredibly good in very recent years.
That's
Interesting.
I do get why this film created all of that, because it is a very polarizing, you either hate it or you love it style of film.
Yeah. I feel like, though, that everyone would enjoy it. Like, I know the style of film is quite polarizing, as you said, but it's a good film, I think. Yeah.
I mean,
you want to go to ratings?
I have a few more stuff in there.
Go for it, Yann. Can I quickly go and pee, though?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Never prepare enough. Cut. Yeah, something I forgot to say. Yeah, something I forgot to say in the second one. They are capitalizing in the "it's a kind of magic" because I've counted, and they say that line at least 20 times in the second one.
Really? Oh, that would just lose the feel of it, though, I think.
And yeah, and the second one, there is also "I cannot die," leading to sex, but you don't see the sex at all this time.
Okay.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
okay.
So they brought it back for the third one, but the second doesn't. Antagonist. First one, Clancy Brown. Second one was Michael Ironside as General Katana. So apparently they like to bring people with the origins, and because Katana is very certainly not a name from where Michael Ironside is.
No.
Mario Van Peebles in the third one as the sorcerer, and Bruce Payne in the fourth one. Well, whatever. Okay. But he was an interesting guy. Yeah, Endgame, so as I said, is a perfect example that would be terribly wrong for the rest of the world, but I enjoyed, and that's why I've kept listening to it. Yeah. I think I'll just remove this. No need. Okay. Okay. Wait. Almost there. How do you like the one of the final shots with all the glass breaking? They must have had 20 cameras for this one.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's a
gosh.
good point. Yeah, it was huge.
I didn't think about that actually. I mean, it must have had quite a big budget. Not like Harry Potter big, but a few mil.
I'm not sure. Yeah,
It must have been. They would have needed, because there was quite a few location shots and there were quite a few actors, and probably, yeah, as you said, like so many cameras and like lighting and like it's like one of those B movies, but like that's expensive.
So they're called immortals, right?
Yeah, Immortals.
They're
yeah.
not Highlanders.
No, there's just one Highlander. Because you have got many immortals who were born in many places. This one was born in Scotland, in the Highlands of Scotland, so he's a Highlander.
Right.
Basically, just like any person who was born in Scotland, but he is referred to as a Highlander because he's the only one.
Okay.
Yeah, and the second one, which is, I think, a cousin or something, Duncan is in the series is also referred as a Highlander.
Right.
Okay.
Because it's it's so vague to Scotland that it's almost quite funny in a way.
It's got nothing. Yeah, I mean, it's got.
I
nothing
think that kind of made my experience even more fun, because I'm like, is this what people think Scottish people are like?
Yep.
This is amazing.
Live in the middle of nowhere in a field.
Yeah, but that's a very good point. It's like all Highlanders. That's why. Yeah. It's just a nickname, like,
Right. Okay.
which became the title of the movie, because the title shifted between many things, and yeah.
Okay.
We'll have, hopefully, but he said yes. The very first acting workshop I did was in 2009 for my 20th birthday. My parents got me 2 workshops. The first one was an introduction on theater, and the coach, the tutor, was a guy named Thierry de Carbonnière, who was featured in one of the series episode.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we'll hopefully have him when we do our so we'd like to introduce a side, kind of a spin-off to this, which is called Would You Watch the Rest? So the idea basically is we'll watch together a pilot of a series, and we will report on whether or not we would actually watch the rest, even if we're familiar with this. But we will watch the pilot with the eyes we have since this podcast. I mean, and if it's a series like Buffy and Angel, there is one episode in there that I had my brother watch, and it was a good pick, and I didn't pick it like by chance. I knew that he just watched the whole series after that. So if it's a series I like, and I can detect in your eyes that the pilot doesn't work, I will get to show you a second episode.
Okay.
And we'll
Very cool.
yeah, it's a kind of thing.
Very cool.
I'm excited for that. Sounds good fun.
And hopefully following movies. So like we'll do Stargate the movie and do that for the because there is one episode like kind of a groundhog day in one of the Stargate SG-1 episode, which is just brilliant.
Okay.
So Battlestar Galactica also is very nice. So yeah.
Can we do an opposite series called Would You Stop Watching? And it's we notoriously pick bad episodes of TV series to go, would this episode stop you watching the show?
It's like, yes.
So like Walking Dead is the entirety of season 2.
No.
Get off the farm.
Let's get a bit on accents. So yeah, we've talked about the weird stuff that's happening here, but they probably didn't
Care.
Well, maybe they were, they didn't care or they didn't prepare, because we have some great examples of, like you've got, so Idris Elba, John Boyega. So you can't know that those guys, like I've seen only the first episode, but I'll go of Luther, and he's using his real voice, obviously.
Yeah.
And when you hear him in everything like Star Trek and
The Wire.
This is. It's just, that's great work.
Yeah. Jamie Bell in Filth, going back to that episode.
That's true.
Just, you would think he was Scottish. I know. Like, there's no problem that I have with people not being from that place and doing that accent, because obviously there are so many examples where people have done an amazing job. But my problem is if they go with someone who doesn't do a good job, and it's like, it makes it look like there are no good Scottish actors, which is absolute rubbish. Do you know what I mean? It's like, we have to go with this person because there are no good Scottish actors for this part. It's like, no, it's not true. It's weird. I don't know why they chose him, because he sounds like he's got a Russian accent.
I mean, it's not offensive in any way. It's just like, you just go, whatever. Because it's like, it's not even close to a Scottish accent that it's offensive. Like, if somebody see, the flack that Mel Gibson got for Braveheart is because he's pretty close, you know? There are just bits where he drops it. Mm-hmm. It's not like Christopher Lambert was like that the whole film, you know? Like, he doesn't sound Scottish, which I'm like, I don't even care.
Now, you've also got Saoirse Ronan, obviously. She's just, like, I've watched recently Death-Defying Acts, which is kind of a TV movie about Eric Weiss, Harry Houdini.
Yeah.
And it's Harry Houdini's Guy Pearce, and there's Catherine Zeta-Jones and Saoirse Ronan as a little girl. They're Scottish. And you can see even she must be like, I don't know, 13 or 14. Saoirse Ronan, you can detect like talent right away, because it's clearly, I barely understand when she speaks her own accent. So yeah, even her name, you know it's Saoirse, but yeah.
Spelt.
Sarsois.
Yeah. No, Saoirse Ronan's great. She's got a very tough accent, so maybe she can. And I'm sure lots of Irish people can do a Scottish accent, like it's kind of got similarities. So I don't know about Catherine Zeta-Jones though, because she's American.
It was. I think it was fine. It was not like shockingly bad. You talked in the previous episode we recorded, Adam, about your father and the blackfish.
Oh yeah.
And I have, these times when you're in a pub and there's you're in a party and there's a group forming around the charismatic guy, and then it ends up having a party at his place. And my brother was in one of those one time, and at some point there was Iwan Rion that appeared.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was having drinks and talking about life with Ramsay Bolton.
Oh, he's so cool, and he's so versatile as well. Like if you see him in Misfits, he's completely different character, which is just, I think, something that every actor strives for. So.
My dad's also met him, Tom Baker. as well.
Captain Baker.
Yeah,
Fort Boyard.
yeah, Fort Boyard and Little Britain as well, and obviously Doctor Who. Yeah, my dad met him also in a pub.
Very cool.
My dad's two to nothing for me of meeting actors. Although I don't think that's true. I've met comedic actors as well, actually.
I'll just get a bit in again about the why sometimes I love bad or just plain standards. What I mean, to get back on Egyptian movies, right? It's because of the theme and the setting, and I always want to give a chance to them, so that's why I watched them a second time and the third time, and at the end of it, I know them by heart.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me you know Gods of Egypt like off by heart.
I give it at least 3 chances.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. No, I'll just skip that bit because that's to continue. That's completely different topic, but to get back to something we talked about in Filth, the feminism bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the Brave episode also there's a bit of stuff. There's 3 things. There are 3 things that were brought by the fourth wave, so the modern one, which don't make sense to me because people displaying those are just being rude, not sexist. So you've got manterrupting, mansplaining, and manspreading.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've tried, right, so manspreading. I don't know if anyone noticed in the world, but we have something between our legs. And I've tried many times to be self-aware of what is happening, and it hurts when I'm like having them to like... I mean,
By monetization.
I mean, obviously, when you're in if there is not enough space, I mean, you will make it best effort, but it hurts. And mansplaining is just, well, if you're allowed to explain something to anyone, I mean, and manterrupting, same, it's just being rude, whatever the gender of the person you're facing. And yeah, I wouldn't do, because you generally have some men who hate women. So they do that consistently. Yeah, but that's not the majority of people doing that.
No. I kind of agree. I think it's a bit of a difficult one because it obviously does exist. And there are some misogynistic men that will just like completely man-interrupt and all that bullshit. Like, I'm sure every woman has had that happen to them. But like, I think what is difficult is that not every man is like that. And maybe we should kind of see that and understand that.
It's about when the situation really, because man's stopping, or what was it? Man excusing, what?
Mansplaining, man-interrupting.
Man-interrupting is usually when if a woman's making a really intelligent point, that's when it's like, right, you're doing this because you think you can. The manspreading, yeah, I get Yann's point. I'm the same. Like, also, I have extremely large legs. I have rugby player thighs. My thighs are huge.
No, but the counterpoint to that is, but women are with their bags, they're putting them. So, I mean, it's the personal space thing. If there is no one, I reckon it's entirely fine to have your bags on the air, or you have your legs like spread as crazy. But I mean, when I try to, like on my own, when there is no one, I try to unspread them. It hurts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I remember like when me and you were sitting, like I'm quite small. So, and I actually quite like to be like together and like my legs crossed and stuff. And then we were on the train, you're because of your legs, you're like obviously taking much more space.
Oh yeah.
And then a woman was like, "Oh yeah, how are you happy that your boyfriend is manspreading right now?" And I was like, "I'm completely happy, thank you very much, to be sitting where I am. And I'm not complaining. I haven't done anything. There's no one standing up around us. My boyfriend is not stopping anything from happening. So maybe you should mind your own fucking business.
That was a really weird situation.
I feel like women need to... I'm sorry, but like women also need to like stand up for themselves. There's parts... We are partly to blame for quite a lot of this stuff. That sounds awful. Probably get in massive trouble for this, but it's kind of true because we keep on saying men need to do this, men need to do that. And it's like, do you know what? Men are not going to understand what the fuck is going on if women don't do something in return. We have to, because otherwise men are never going to learn. This is why every time someone manterrupts or mansplains or whatever, I just cut them down and say, excuse me, I'm talking.
That's
do you know
the
what I
best way
mean?
to
Like
do
that's
it,
the
yeah.
only way you can do it. Otherwise, you can't just then go into your shell and be like, do you remember when like blah, blah, blah was like mansplaining? It's like, but you didn't stand up for yourself. What is he supposed to do?
Yeah, and it's usually very clear. Like if it happens once, and it also because as people, so oftentimes we already, without even listening to what the person is telling, you're always thinking about the answer, what you're about to say. So if you don't take notes, you might lose it. So you interrupt.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I mean, and that's actually a cultural thing as well.
Yeah.
Like I know that in Scotland we have that a lot more, where people just kind of cut across each other.
Yeah, it's a free-for-all of conversational. Yeah.
Yeah, and I find that really difficult because my family isn't like that at all. So when I came here and I met Adam's family for the first time, I found that really tough to like learn. But that has got nothing to do with gender or like that's like culturally different. So there's cultural differences as well. And just because I'm British, I was brought up by like people that were from different cultures. So there are people out there that like are from different places. They might be from somewhere, but like they were brought up by, you have to take that in account. That I don't have English parents, so I'm not fully English. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm different. So you have to take these things on board. And I mean, I feel like some new wave feminism thing is just, it's going too mental. It's like, I mean, this people Christmas thing, are you kidding? It's just ridiculous. They don't like Father Christmas because it's male. Christmas. I mean, what the hell is going on?
Oh, I added that 7. Yeah, I knew about no, it's not Christmas, it's holidays because the religion. But yeah, now it's a male, white male.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, exactly. It's like, do you know what? I don't care what color Father Christmas is, but like people Christmas is ridiculous.
Also, kids, I'm going to give you a 3-second pause.
Hmm?
It's not real. How can a non-real person offend somebody?
Well, the thing is,
it's like, you know, if I've never heard, I bet there are people that'd be like, why isn't Father Christmas a woman? Father Christmas could totally be a woman because you make it up yourself.
Yeah, like the Doctor, it's fine that it's a woman now.
Yeah, I know. Oh God,
it's a figure. Like, make it whoever you want it to be.
You know, like how James Bond can't be black. Of course.
Bollocks. It's like...
Yeah, it depends what you make of it because, for instance, there was massive stuff happening. Like if for you have Jesus, for some people it's a fictional character, and for some other ones it's someone that was there. And I think it was a few months ago, there was a video on Alexa. So they asked Alexa who Jesus was. And Alexa said a fictional character who Muhammad was, and it gave a bio of the actual Muhammad guy. And I said I won't say it again. Yeah, because we've got a fire tablet now. Yeah, who is the few different religion leaders, right? And they all said, except for Jesus, who became so there was a massive stuff happening. I mean, it's just like it's kind of cultural and education. If you are constantly interrupting women or men or whatever, just being rude, it's just like I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of get the whole man hating thing because it's like you're putting those two things together. But then again, we have to also realize that women have been going through hell for the last however long, and that's where it comes from. It's just anger.
I remember that subway ride. The weird thing about that one was that it wasn't a full train either. Like it was, it was a full car. It wasn't a full carriage. There was plenty of room. I just remember sitting there going, I don't know what this girl's been through. What her day's been like. I'm not affecting her by doing this because she was in front of us. Because for video watchers, Glasgow they're opposite sides. They're not like rows. So they were across from us, not even beside us, and it was an issue. And I'm sorry if it was an issue.
It wasn't an issue. She basically saw that I was in a smaller space and you were taking up like the other half. So it looked like you were cramming me into like the thing. But if she knew me, she'd know that I would never be like, oh, my boyfriend needs more space than I do. Like that wasn't the thing at all. It's just that I'm smaller than you. Like that's just the issue.
Also, I know you, and you're like, move.
Well,
yeah, exactly. Probably swearing.
That's the thing. And it would be like, Adam, move over. I've not got any room. Like, oh, sorry.
But because they've seen there was a video that it's always most of the time comes from YouTube videos. There was a video of some females that went down, and it was smashing the manspreading, kind of bringing awareness to the world about manspreading, and they were clearly not really like having they were being rude, like taking the whole benches and maybe because until you point out something and give it a name, it doesn't maybe you taking up some space, but I mean you weren't, and she saw it. Everyone does their own things, and that's this Epictetus thing. Don't concern yourself with stuff outside of your control.
Yeah, it's a very Buddhist way of thinking too.
That don't concern you, so you're better off like that. And
I mean, human beings, right? We live in our own worlds until we have to socialize with another human being, right? If you're on a bench and somebody sits down, usually your brain automatically goes, "There's somebody else on this bench. Am I interrupting their space?" And if you are, you move, and if you're not, you continue doing what you're doing. And if somebody's uncomfortable and they ask you, like, "Sorry, could you move over a bit?" Like, "Sorry, of course." Like, I don't know. I mean,
if there were people standing up, I probably would have been like, if you hadn't noticed, I'd be like, Adam, move over so that people can sit there.
Also, I would already be aware of this.
But it had nothing to do with that. She just wanted an issue. She saw that I was in a smaller space and you were taking up more, which obviously means that you're oppressing me, which is absolute bullshit. It's
where they would argue that's it's internal oppression and you don't realize it yourself and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it's like the hijab thing all over again. Like if I'm wearing a hijab or if I'm covering up, it means that the society that I'm living in is oppressing me. It doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah.
Just people need to chill out.
We could go into the ratings right before this anecdote about the series. One of the very earliest times I used Amazon, I had ordered from the US store the series, which was a massive thingy with 9 or 10 DVDs.
Wow.
And I received it, but there was a DVD missing.
Oh, no.
Oh.
As it was in the US, the cost of sending them back would have been too high, so they just sent me the box again for free.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the moment I realized, well, I don't know what their business model is, but I am not surprised that they're losing that much money.
Okay, so
That's terrible.
Anouk and Yann, Highlander.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or just plain standard? Anouk?
It was good. I enjoyed it. Surprisingly, it was good.
Yann?
It was legendary.
Aha!
All right. So when we talked about death in the rap episode and having one person in the family who dies for the first time changes your life forever, right? It did for me, kind of, because Highlander convinced me, because I really believed in that thing, right? So it convinced me that I was immortal.
What?
And I realized, so I was up until 10 years ago, I think, I was living my life as if I was, which is kind of a big thing for a movie to do, right?
Right.
The two things which made it I realized I wasn't was I did no, or even if I was, I wouldn't want to be kind of, well, because I did, George of the Jungle?
Yeah.
Yes.
When I was younger, I tried George of the Jungle, but not with a rope, with a garden hose.
Oh my god.
And I fell on my butt, obviously. I've been having this pain coming back from once a month or something.
Bloody hell.
So I'd say, well, even if I'm immortal, I don't want to have this pain coming back forever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, growing up, we had a swimming pool, like a movable one with a Zodiac, those inflatable.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, I did a backflip, and I didn't nothing. I just my feet touched the inflatable back, so I felt like I was actually touching something. Well, I didn't have any accident or anything, but I was like, whoa! I never did any backflips after that. So I was like, yeah, okay, I was basically living my life as a daredevil up until those stuff and my grandfather dying a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it gave me the strength of an immortal. So that's legend right there.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
That's very cool. I thought, oh God, why didn't I go before Yann? Because that's a perfect way to round off this film. Yeah, this film's good. It's in the good category. It's with Evil Dead. It's not bad, but it is. I will, if you're gonna watch it, just be open minded. Again, like Army of Darkness, be open minded and just go in to have fun.
Yeah, no, don't anticipate.
Absolutely not. Don't anticipate.
But I thought it was better than John Wick.
Yeah.
So, which I think is like our go-to film for like the level of like good. It's like not bad,
it was good.
but
It was
it's
good.
not standard, but it's not like great. So that's like the last film.
How was that movie? It was John Wick good, but it wasn't Suicide Squad bad.
Which is funny because, as I said earlier, the guy directing John Wick 1 and 2 will be directing the reboot for this. So.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
I also did it, no.
No, I was just.
I didn't interrupt you. Oof, I'm just.
No, you
Oh
didn't.
Jesus! Careful,
I mean,
Yann.
I'm going to have a massive blowout later. I'm not going to do it to your face.
Yann,
obviously.
you're going to be outed on YouTube now because of Anouk.
Yeah.
I thought about, we have a questionnaire, right? Every time we have a guest, and we did it ourselves. Oh, wait.
That's not an artist.
No, yeah, it was just a bit. No, it's fine. We have that questionnaire. We did it just once. We have guests once, so we're doing a questionnaire. We did our questionnaire once. There are the four first questions are highly. They can move from even time of day. So I thought we could ask ourselves the questions in each episode.
All right.
Yeah. So because it's moving so much, like I have loads of favorite word, and what is your favorite word?
Sorry, I was just blowing into the mic to confuse Yann. Word. Hairy.
Really?
No, actually thinking about that, no.
Right now.
Right now, because I'm thinking about my cat. I'm thinking about petting my hairy cat.
Fluffy.
Fluffy's a better word then. Fluffy, yeah.
Aw.
That's better. Fluffy.
Okay.
We should make this a separate episode just to put out 2 the same week. We can call them updates.
I don't know.
Take this bit out. Note to Yann.
Yeah, it was not necessarily.
What about chocolate?
Chocolate. Ooh.
I think that's a good word.
Yann.
That's one I had selected before, which makes sense. As it turns out, it's related to Emma's one action.
Ah, yeah.
You know, stuff is about to happen when you hear this word.
It's a good one.
What is your least favorite word?
I have one that we can't broadcast.
Pump.
I know what you mean by that. Oh, that's a story. Should we tell that story?
Yeah.
If you don't have to.
It's a bit raunchy.
It's a bit raunchy. Well,
Pump basically in Scottish means like have sex.
you're wanting pumped would be a sentence.
Yeah, and I just find that so it's just
Yeah.
makes me shiver.
And I once said to a group of friends, like, "Hello, Alexa, don't interrupt me." Yeah. So I used the word pump in that context, and Anouk was like, "No, we don't pump."
So that's your imitation of me. Thank you,
It's an imitation of most females. It's just based after my mother.
Mum. Yeah.
Yeah. What's my least favourite word?
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to cheese. It's like, my least favourite word at the moment is Stilton.
Okay.
Because of the cheese.
Okay. Mine, because I never understood why it's miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous.
Yeah, miscellaneous. Yeah, because
Miscellaneous.
You never know how to pronounce it.
Or bloody spell it.
Miscellaneous.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
What sound or noise do you like?
Currently, I'm falling asleep listening to the sound of rain on a tent. So I like that. I also like that because I was a scout. And there's something almost nice and almost warm, surprisingly, about being in a tent while it's raining because you're not getting wet. Unless the tent starts leaking and then you're like, oh, for God's sake. So yeah, I like that sound right now.
Because I have a up-and-coming play, my favourite sound is probably applause.
Oh.
Because that's
Anouk,
me
mind your head on the door on the way out. You might bash it.
hoping. No, that's me like hoping that it goes well, and I hear that, and I'm looking forward to hopefully hearing that, because that's a nice feeling after kind of long time of getting rejections and not doing much and stuff. Like it means a lot more than I think most people realize. So
Cool. Cicadas.
oh, that's a good one.
That's home.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I only noticed. I don't know if you've ever noticed in Japanese movies they add it afterwards. For some reason, I guess they must have plenty there because it's really apparent. I don't notice them anymore when I'm back home, obviously, but you've got the actual noise added in animation movies. Yeah. What sound or noise do you dislike?
This is probably the one that I did before, but you know when like a motorbike just like revs and like they do it really obnoxious. Like I hate obnoxious noises that you people don't have to make, but they do because they're obnoxious. I don't know how else to describe that.
Sound I dislike. The sound currently right now is actually I'll do one that I genuinely hate all the time. Polystyrene, like scraping. I hate that sound.
Me too.
What about you, Yann?
Well, there's actually also is linked to, but I had this one before. Emma gave it to us. Screeching, like you throw a cat on a blackboard. Well, you hear that in the subway now, but that's when you yeah. That's just it's hard.
Yeah. Screeching cats. Ooh. Yeah, that's it.
That was fun.
That was
Nice.
really fun.
It is nice to think about again. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll probably start thinking about it now, so that when the questions come, I have more interesting ones.
We're gonna have a point where we're like, let's do the questionnaire again because something happened to me and I hate this sound now.
Yeah, I need to say this.
That's the whole point. Yeah. I think we're done.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
So we were
Sorry, I was yawning. Adam.
Anouk.
and Yann. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye.